Hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast, The Dark and the Strange. I'm Paul.
And I'm Tara.
And this week we are going to be discussing something really interesting, and that's going to be called the Ouija board. So unfortunately this week I'm going to be taking you guys through it. Lucky for you, Tara.
It is lucky for me and lucky for our audience, of course.
Yes, I like that sarcasm. It always makes me really happy.
It was not sarcasm. I'm sure everyone's like, hell yeah, can't wait for Paul to be the lead.
To bore us to sleep.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So without further ado, as they say, let's get to it. So today we're diving into the eerie and fascinating history of one of the world's most mysterious games, the Ouija board. Is it a toy, a spiritualist tool, or something more? Join me on this journey and let's find out. So in the mid-1800s, America was swept up in the spiritualist movement. People believed they could communicate with the dead through seances and mediums. This wasn't fringe, it was mainstream. Even Mary Todd Lincoln, who was married to Abraham Lincoln, had seances in the White House. So in 1890, a businessman named Elijah Bond patented a talking board. It featured letters, numbers, and a movable pointer called a planchette. The name Ouija supposedly came from a session where the actual board spelled out its own name. Some say it's a blend of the French and the German words for yes, which is oui, and yeah. So the board was marketed both as a mystical device and a fun parlour game. It promised answers from beyond, no medium required. So by the early 20th century, the Ouija board was a hit. During World War I and the Great Depression, people turned to it for comfort and connection. It outsold a lot of other games at that time and became a fixture in most American homes. So in 1966, the Parker brothers bought the rights and they began mass producing the board. The Parker brothers were the producers of the popular board game Monopoly, which was brought by Hasbro in 1991. So it was no longer just a spiritual tool, it was an actual toy. So then came The Exorcist. So on December 26, 1973, in this film, a young girl becomes possessed after using a Ouija board. Suddenly the board wasn't just spooky, it was actually dangerous. Religious groups condemned it. Despite, or maybe because of, this controversy, the board's popularity soared. It became a staple of horror films, Halloween parties, and my favourite, teenage sleepovers. The board's image has changed and had changed from innocent game to an occult icon. So I guess the question is then, what's really happening? What does actually happen when that planchette moves? Based on scientific studies, scientists pointed to the ideomotor effect. They say it was a tiny, unconscious muscle movement that makes the planchette glide across the board. Users aren't aware they're moving it, which makes the experience feel supernatural. Psychologists say the board taps into our subconscious. It reveals our fears, desires, and our beliefs. Not actual messages from the dead. So there's science being a killjoy as always. However, many users report chilling experiences, answers they couldn't have possibly known, eerie coincidences, and feelings of a presence. Whether it's science or spirits, the board continues to intrigue. Hasbro owns the rights, and it's still sold in many toy stores. There's mobile apps, online versions, and even virtual reality seances. I have to have a look at that the next time I'm looking at my apps.
An app.
Yeah, an app. Crazy, hey. So it's featured in pop culture, from Stranger Things to TikTok challenges. It's a symbol of mystery, rebellion, and curiosity. So whether you see it as a toy, a tool, or a trap, the Ouija board remains a cultural icon, one that continues to fascinate and frighten. So I guess the question is the Ouija board just a game, a psychological mirror, or a doorway to the unknown? I guess that's for our viewers to decide. So what do you think, Tara? Interesting?
I have so many like thoughts running through my head about all of that, particularly like how the hell that would work just having a nap. Like, just, yeah, entirely. So I definitely have to go and have a look at that later. Not that I would probably use it. I'm just saying, like, have you ever actually used one?
Yes, I have. A few times.
Yeah. Was that at your teenage sleepover?
Yeah.
I just, as soon as you said that, you were like, oh, it's my favorite. All I could think was like you like having pillow fights and then being like, okay, guys, it's time to get serious. It's Ouija board time.
Yeah, it's time to get serious. Let's go to the Ouija board.
Yeah, all those sleepover parties, Paul.
Well,
Okay.
look, I mean, we didn't have the internet back then or mobile phones, so we had to make our own fun. So that's how it was.
Right, I forgot like how old you were.
How old? That's irrelevant. Maybe we should talk about that one time on the podcast. Hey,
Right?
yeah.
I do love it though, like people just walking into, a store and being like, what are we going to get today? Do you think we should purchase Monopoly or a Ouija board? No, I think it's a really nice family experience if we all, contact the dead together. Okay, splendid. Well, I mean, admittedly, because I suppose I do enjoy horror things and I kind of, irk more on the side of believing things like that. I just guess that I've actually never used the Ouija board. It's never been like, hey, let's do this because...
So you've never ever used a Ouija board?
I have never, ever used a Ouija board because I got shit scared of it when I was younger. I actually, and if they do watch this, they'll probably remember this conversation. So this is a conversation for my cousins, Brad and Darren, and we had this like big family trip up to the Bunya Mountains years ago, and I must have been like 16 or 17, right? And then they start telling me this story about their experience with a Ouija board, and someone ended up on a freaking ceiling, and I was like laying there at night after we all went to bed, shit scared, and I was like, I'm never touching one of those things, so I just completely stayed away. And then obviously after I saw The Exorcist, well, I mean... I just never went there. And to be fair, with my sleepover parties, none of us had any Ouija boards. It just, I don't know, maybe because it's like a big American thing. I don't feel like Australia just has them like laying about like, hey guys, it hasn't been something that I put on my Christmas list either, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. But we just used to make our own. So we did use, pieces of paper with all the letters of the alphabet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Does that work? Is the dead's not like, I'm sorry, you haven't bought the trademark version from the Parker Brothers, therefore we're not going to communicate with you because capitalism.
Well, potentially it could work two ways, It might be that the more expensive the board, the more potent spirit that you get.
So like quality ghosts.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it goes up in quality. I mean, and the more money you spend, the better it gets. So, having said that, though, on a serious note, we as in me and my mates, we have used the Ouija board a number of times, and look, my mates, they were pretty much fraudsters back then. We and larrikins and just jokers, and there was a couple of times they had rigged it and stuff like that where they had tied pieces of thread and stuff to little pieces of ornaments and stuff that was around us, on the kitchen table and stuff. And as they were saying, was there anybody there? They'd pull the thread and the ornament would start moving, and you'd be like, what is happening? And they were really good at that, at kind of, convincing people that it was real. So from that context, it was a lot of fun. And they got me a couple of times. Because at the end, they'd be like, oh yeah, we're only messing. That was just us. And they'd show us like, how they rigged it up and stuff like that. However, when that was taken out for that whole joke aspect and messing around and stuff like that. There was a couple of times that we did use it, and some odd, strange stuff was happening. So, look, from the context of me as an individual, does it work? I can't say it doesn't, but I can't say it's conclusively 100% works either, if that makes sense. I don't know. Look, I really don't. There's a couple of times we did it, and there wasn't any joking around. There wasn't any messing. They would have been straight up and they said it, when we were finished. But they were actually just as freaked out as I was about it. So on those times that we did actually do it for real, it did move. The planchette moved. And whether that was the ideomotor effect that the scientists say that, it's involuntary muscles that are moving it subconsciously, who knows? But between my own personal experience of using a Ouija board and a lot of stories and a lot of comments that I've read, whether it be online or in books that I've read regarding supernatural and regarding the subject of the Ouija board, there's just so much stuff that I guess doesn't make sense that you kind of go, you can't discredit it, to say the least.
Okay, so I have 2 questions.
All right, a 2-parter.
Yes. They're not actually relating to each other per se, but...
Okay, yeah.
Okay, question 1.
Do I get to phone a friend?
Well, since you've stated that you have friends, which, trust me, was a surprise to all of us, if you really need to phone a friend, by all means.
Okay.
Okay, so if you had the ability with a Ouija board to talk to someone that has died, who would that person be?
Oh, gee, I don't know. I don't really know who actually contact, to be honest. That's kind of a put on the spot question. There's so many people that you could contact. I don't know, maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi or somebody like that.
You could have at least gone with a semi-real person. I mean, I know.
What do you mean he's not real? How dare you?
It can be real to you. That's fine. Oh my God. No. I know who I would choose. I mean, okay. There's someone personal to me that I would like to talk to.
Sure.
So if we're going to go on that side of things, it would definitely be my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though he was, or I was 20 when he passed away, I just feel like I didn't get enough time. Otherwise, if I had to pick someone well known that I would have a conversation with, it would probably be Robin Williams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
how I'd pick. And he'd probably completely take the shit out of me on a fucking Ouija board.
Probably.
So that's who I would pick.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a nice choice. Agree.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. And all right, so then the second question I have, which hopefully you can answer this one with like a better answer, is what would probably be your favorite like film depiction of a Ouija board?
I would, for me, my personal choice would be The Exorcist. It would have to be there as the one that ranks as the scariest and the one that feels like it's very real.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the movie, it's dated now at this stage. But look, I mean, people to this day even speak about it. And that's like, 52 years ago that movie first came out?
Yeah.
I remember growing up as a kid how my parents used to tell me that back in Ireland, there was priests at the cinema, stating at this time to people not to go in there. It was demonic. It was, it was almost to the point where it was sinful.
Sorry. I'm having bad thoughts. I can just see this priest. Please, young child, don't go see that film. You're much more safe in my church.
Okay. I think we're cutting that part off again.
You laughed a little bit. I'm a little bit funny sometimes.
Yes, you are. Yeah, that was a different time. Ireland was very, very different back then. We were very much sheltered and kept in the dark about a lot of stuff. So, yeah, the Catholic priests were like rock stars back then, and nobody questioned them, and so whatever they said goes. And yeah, unfortunately, that was a time we had to endure to get to this, but we learned our lessons and we moved forward, so that's important.
Yay.
What about you, Tara? What movie with a Ouija board resonates with you? Exorcist as well?
I mean, look, The Exorcist is like the OG. I actually find watching seances in film a lot more interesting. Mainly because every time I see a Ouija board depicted in film that's not The Exorcist, it's usually people like, making a joke out of it, or, there's one person who's like leading the communication. So I always find seances are more fun to watch in film.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, everybody has their own personal preference and stuff, but yeah, I guess so. So I take it you're not going to be going to Amazon buying any Ouija boards for Christmas?
Look, it wasn't originally like on my list, and I'm not even 100% sure if someone like bought that for me, if I would use it.
No, seriously, you would. If somebody buys that for you, we're all gathering around at the Christmas party and we're cracking out the Ouija board.
We better be cracking out some alcohol with it, because that's the only way I'm touching that thing.
Isn't that how it goes? Alcohol, Ouija boards?
Great mix. Yeah, start a new tradition, I just...
You can download the Ouija board as well on a mobile app.
Well, I mean, yeah, you.
But that wouldn't be as much fun.
I feel like you would almost need to have like a main tablet, and then I don't know, I just don't see how it would work on a phone. I'd have to. I have to go and look at this later. It'd be like gambling on a phone. I mean, it could be kind of very much preordained what's going to happen. So it would be different in context to using a physical device. I think a physical device would be pretty cool. Have the lights down low, or just have flickering candles, group of people, and then you start and see how it goes. And that'd be good. So if I do get one for Christmas, I'm obligated to use it. Is that right?
That's it. Yeah. Send out personal invites.
Yeah. And, oh my God, guys, you have to come around for my sleepover so that we can use this Ouija board.
You can put it in your Facebook kind of invite. Ouija board at Tara's.
You know what though? Thinking of my friends right now, particularly my trio, I 100% think they would be down. They'd be like, oh, I'm all in. Just, tell me when and where and we'll be there.
Yeah, but if I do attend, the first person that we're going to contact is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Are we good with that?
Sure. As long as we only allocate like 10 minutes to it, because if he's not answering, because even if that was a real person for you to contact, Paul, I highly doubt that Obi-Wan Kenobi would be wasting his time chatting with you.
What do you mean by that? The Force is strong.
That's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi here.
Oh my God.
What would you like to ask me?
No.
You're a Jew with Darth Vader. Was that the hardest Jew that you had? So, if you do get it, send out the invites. Let us know when it's going to happen.
Okay, I
Sounds
will.
like a plan.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're gonna have to film it and put some of it on the podcast.
Oh, jeez. Look, I don't know about that. I don't know about me drinking alcohol with a Ouija board. Contacting Obi-Wan Kenobi would be the greatest thing that people wanted to see. But
You know
yeah,
what?
who knows?
I reckon if I put up a poll right now,
Tony, you're not putting up a phone.
everyone would just
There's
be
no
like,
poll.
everyone would be like, yes,
And
we're
just like-
in. That's it. That's the event that we want to see.
And dressed like a Jedi Knight as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
I love this. This is great.
That would be incredibly
Yeah.
fucked up.
It really sounds like a good time now that you've sold it to me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put that on the R2 list, so we'll
Mm.
see how it goes. So, guys, look, I hope you enjoyed the podcast today. We took a light-hearted approach to it because, in all fairness, it's quite serious a subject, mostly, that's discussed on the internet. Look, I know from the perspective of the Ouija board itself, it can be a bit contentious in terms of does it work, does it not, believers, skeptics, that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. And, I'm not going to say, personally speaking, whether I believe or I don't believe, but what I have seen, experienced with it in my own personal life, it is strange. It's a little bit difficult to explain, and it's freaky. Truly is.
Also, guys, if you've had an interesting experience with a Ouija board, please share it with us.
Or if you've contacted Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You're not going to drop the Obi-Wan Kenobi
No,
thing, are you?
I'm not.
Okay. And because it did kind of get pointed out to me the other day by some colleagues at work. I won't specifically shout them out, but I do know that they watch this podcast, and I do appreciate that. We appreciate everyone that watches this podcast.
They must live an absolute boring life. I mean, the fact that they actually sit down and give time from their day to watch this really, I guess identifies that there's something lacking. Sorry, I don't mean that.
Says the two people that are currently doing this podcast. However, I just want to say for those people who do watch, like and subscribe us. That'd be great. I don't like. I don't like. Paul hasn't.
As
even
you can
liked
tell,
and
I don't care.
subscribed. Yeah.
I don't even. I haven't liked and subscribed to my own podcast.
You're like, we have a social media. Yeah. So,
How do I find that? Where's the link?
oh my god, that conversation the other night.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, what can I say? I'm just doing it because I enjoy doing it.
Maybe you should
If
have.
people like it, people like it. If people don't, they don't.
You should have consulted your effing Ouija board to be like, how do I actually follow this page on Facebook? Because I don't know. Maybe the spirits can help me.
The last time I used my Ouija board, it's so burnt out that I've got to give it time to recuperate again.
Yeah, so like and subscribe, guys. And please do share with us if you've had a experience with a Ouija board. I know lots of people have had some interesting things or have heard interesting things. I think it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I've got a mate or I've heard a friend of a friend who's this has happened to. So, and those stories are the ones that have made me completely stay away from Ouija boards.
Yeah, look, I agree. If you've come across anything that is strange, doesn't really make sense, any experiences like that are absolutely flick us a message, DM Tara. I don't have social media. Don't know how it works. I still read the newspaper.
Yeah, if you message,
Courier
holy
Mail.
shit! if you message me, I'll flick it via pigeon carrier over to Paul.
Owl.
Oh, sorry, I can't afford an owl. You're gonna have to settle for a
You
pigeon.
use an owl. No, we use owls nowadays. We've upgraded
All right.
from bats. Yeah, do please send us a message. We'd love to hear. In the next couple of weeks, we're doing some external stuff. We'll be posting on our podcast as well regarding this dark and strange, which should be quite interesting. And look, we're still looking at doing some interviews in our podcast in the forthcoming months, especially after Christmas. So we're interested to hear from people that have encountered some dark and strange stuff.
Indeed.
Okie dokie. So from us, I'm Paul.
I'm Tara.
Goodbye for now.
Till next time.
And don't contact Obi-Wan. All right? I
your
want to
buddy.
contact him.
Oh my God.
Bye-bye.
Bye.